Our On January 26, 1972, a woman fell from the sky. No parachute, no wingsuit, no safety device of any kind. She struck the frozen earth from an altitude that no unprotected human body should survive, and yet her heart kept beating. This is the verified account of Vesna Vulović and the chain of physical circumstances that separated her from the 27 other people aboard that aircraft. Every one of them died. Vesna Vulović was 22 years old in January 1972, a flight attendant for JAT Yugoslav Airlines based in Belgrade. She was not supposed to be on Flight 367 that day. A scheduling mix-up placed her on the roster. There was another Vesna among the cabin crew, and the assignment was confused between them. She reported for duty on a routine flight from Stockholm to Belgrade, with stopovers in Copenhagen and Zagreb. 28 souls on board. Passengers and crew settled in for an unremarkable winter journey over Central Europe. The aircraft was a McDonnell Douglas DC-9, cruising above Czechoslovakia. At approximately 16:01 local time, somewhere over the village of Srbska Kamenis, the aircraft broke apart. An explosion tore through the fuselage. The official investigation concluded that a bomb, likely concealed in a briefcase in the forward baggage compartment, detonated mid-flight. Suspicion fell on Croatian nationalist extremists, though no one was ever convicted for the bombing. The aircraft fragmented, bodies, luggage, and wreckage scattered across a snow-covered hillside in northern Czechoslovakia. The cockpit voice recorder captured nothing useful. The breakup was instantaneous. 27 people died, passengers and crew, either from the explosion, the decompression, or the impact with terrain below. One person did not die. Vesna Vulović fell inside a section of the fuselage. She was pinned in the tail section of the aircraft, still strapped in or wedged between a catering cart and the interior wall. Accounts vary, but her position within wreckage is consistent across sources. She did not fall through open air like a skydiver. She fell inside a fragment of the plane, which is a critical distinction. The wreckage around her body acted as a partial buffer against aerodynamic forces and possibly against the final impact. The section struck a snow-covered, heavily forested slope at an angle. Snow, trees, slope gradient, wreckage shell. These four factors are what physicists and aviation survival researchers point to when explaining why her body was not destroyed on impact. She was unconscious from the moment of the explosion. She has no memory of the fall itself. Bruno Honke, a local man and former World War II medic, reached the crash site quickly. He found Vesna among the wreckage. She was bleeding severely. Her body was broken in multiple places, but she was breathing, and he could detect a pulse. Fractured skull, 3 vertebrae crushed, both legs broken, pelvis fractured. Her brain was swelling. Internal bleeding had begun. In the frozen January landscape of rural Czechoslovakia, the nearest hospital with surgical capability was not close. The cold may have actually helped. Extreme cold can slow metabolic processes, reduce swelling, and limit blood loss in the critical minutes after massive trauma. But cold is also a killer. Hypothermia was now a competing threat. Vesna was transported to a hospital in Srbska Kamenis, then transferred for more advanced care. She entered a coma. Day 1 became day 5. Day 5 became day 10. Her brain swelling had to be managed without the imaging technology that modern hospitals take for granted. Surgeons worked to stabilize her spine without knowing the full extent of the vertebral damage. Day 10 became day 20. Her family waited. The medical team could not predict whether she would wake, and if she did, whether she would have any cognitive function remaining. Her paralysis was already apparent. From the waist down, no signals were reaching her legs. 27 days in a coma. The human brain begins to suffer irreversible changes after prolonged unconsciousness. Muscle atrophy, circulatory complications, infection risk from immobility, pressure sores that can become septic. Every day in a coma is a day the body deteriorates without the conscious systems that normally drive recovery. Vesna had no voice in her own survival during these weeks. Her body either had the reserves to repair itself or it did not. On day 27, Vesna Vulović regained consciousness. She had no memory of the flight, no memory of the explosion, no memory of falling. Her last memory before waking was stepping onto the aircraft in Copenhagen. The spinal damage had left her paralyzed from the waist down. Doctors were uncertain whether she would ever walk again, but Vesna made a decision that defined her recovery. She refused to accept the paralysis as permanent. Over months of intensive physical rehabilitation, she fought to regain motor function in her legs. The vertebral fractures had damaged but not fully severed her spinal cord. Slowly, sensation returned, then movement, then supported steps. Vesna Vulović walked again. She returned to work at JAT Yugoslav Airlines, not as a flight attendant, but in a desk capacity. She was never medically cleared to fly again. She became, according to Guinness World Records, the holder of the record for the highest fall survived without a parachute. Listed at 10,160 meters, she did not seek fame from the event. In interviews over the decades, she spoke about it matter-of-factly. She did not remember the fall. She could not describe what it felt like to plummet from that altitude because she was unconscious for the entire descent. The 2009 investigation by Czech journalists complicated the narrative. Their research, based on declassified documents and witness interviews, suggested that the aircraft may have actually been flying at a much lower altitude, possibly as low as 800 meters, and may have been accidentally shot down by Czechoslovak military jets that misidentified it. If true, this would mean Vesna's fall was from a far lower height than officially recorded. Still extraordinary, still lethal for everyone else on board, but not from the edge of the stratosphere. The Czech Civil Aviation Authority has not officially revised the original findings. The Guinness record still stands at 10,160 meters. Vesna herself expressed indifference to the debate. She survived. The altitude was academic to her. She lived until December 23, 2016, dying at age 66 in Belgrade. What Vesna Vulovic's case reveals about survival is uncomfortable in its randomness. She did not make a clever decision at altitude. She did not deploy a technique or use training. She was unconscious from the first millisecond. Her survival came down to physics. Her position inside the wreckage, the angle of impact, the snow cover, the forested slope, the cold that slowed her bleeding, and the proximity of a man who knew basic trauma response. No skill, no choice. Pure mechanical fortune combined with a body resilient enough to endure the aftermath. And then, after waking, the choice to recover. The daily grinding decision to rehabilitate a broken spine. That part was not luck. That part was will. Sometimes survival is not about the moment of disaster. It is about what you do with the years afterward.